God damn it, Yu-Gi-Oh, you win. Oh, this week's episode. Oh man, that was great. So let's be real here. The big thing that happened this week was we got our big revelation that yes, it is in fact mind control that's being used on, at the very least, Rin and Ruri. We don't know if it's being used on Serena. They could do something different than that, but as of right now, we at least know mind control is playing a big element in this climax. And the thing is that I actually said last week, I hope that it wasn't mind control, so I want to see something a bit more juicy and interesting than just a pretty standard Yu-Gi-Oh trope. However, oh my god, they did that perfectly. The whole reveal at the end made me want something I didn't even want in the first place. Like, oh man. And what was really great was everything that happened this episode, from the minute it began to the minute it ended, was created to set up that reveal of mind control and the weird parasite thing on that creepy guy's card. So without further ado, let's start off with where this episode began, with the beginning, with Yugioh's little comedy relief of him landing in academia. That was hilarious. All the Yugioh jokes in this episode were, as usual, great. And the thing is, a lot of people were saying, not just on my video, but on like the episode reactions, even when I was talking to my friends personally, they liked last week's episode because they thought the pirate idea was funny and it was nice to get a little comedy relief before we get into the big serious adventure. I can see that and I understand that. I know a lot of people are like that. I'd rather, if we gotta get some comedy relief before things get too serious, I'd rather it just be with a Yugioh doing something, or a Sora doing something, or Yuya Yuzu banter. I'd rather have that. Like, no joke, I would watch a filler episode if it just came out of the middle of nowhere, if it was Yugioh going to the grocery store to pick up Oreos. I would watch that because that character is really funny and I like watching his antics, and I liked that in this episode. Like, yes, Kaito dueled as well, but let's be real here, this was a Yugioh episode. And among other things, the animation looked really good. I said that the past two episodes looked sort of meh, but this time we really stepped the notch up as we need to, really get exciting. I love the look of Academia. I love that there's just this creepy, dark feel to it that isn't really like overplayed or anything like that. It's just the general atmosphere of the scene. Like, obviously they get there and they're like, oh, it's probably a trap, but what choice do we have? So that was set up so when you do get to the big trap reveal at the end, you're okay with it kind of being obvious. Everything was set up so that way it played with your expectations. Even if it didn't exceed them, they were able to figure out what your mentality would be and know how to push that limit. Yu-Gi-Oh is always very good. At the very least, I can always say it tries. It really tries to make something epic and adventurous and exciting, and that reveal really did do that. But moving on to the actual duel itself, which, interestingly enough, they were just sort of OTK duels. Like, obviously, Kaito and Yugioh beat their opponents fairly quickly. But the thing is that there was a lot of interest. The way it was actually played out made it feel full and complete, not just a quick rush to the end of the episode. Like, I really liked seeing the Guardian guys. I like seeing token strategies. I like that our guys needed to use actual clever tactics, but they weren't, like, specific to that situation. I could see battle phase activations for boss monsters being big things in their decks, as that is a big thing in real life decks. So that I really enjoyed and was really entertaining. And then we get the Rin reveal. First up, the only one who kind of giggled, just like we finally saw Ruri for the first time in present tense. And also the other thing that kind of made me laugh, when Yugioh got on his dual runner to get into the room where Rin is, and he's in front of the guy, I almost thought he was just going to plow right through him. Just like run him over, push him over the side, just be like, it's a war, it's time for murder. But that obviously didn't happen and probably shouldn't. But then we get up there, and that whole thing with him going to Rin and him kicking him, I knew she was probably going to do that, but it was still hilarious. Plus the whole little JoJo's Bizarre Adventure reference there with Yugioh's face. It was really funny, and it made me forget what was probably about to happen for a second. And that was really smart about it. If they played that scene straight and did have them do a straight up embrace when he got there, you know that the trap's going to happen. But by making me forget it for that minute, it makes the whole reveal that much better. First up, the actual guy himself who's holding that weird little... It's probably going to be something like Brainjacker, I think that's an actual card already, or something like that. He looks freaking creepy. Like, he looks like the creepy mad scientist who you'd imagine would probably want a bunch of small 14-year-old girls around him at all times. On top of that, I also really like the fact that we didn't get a whole good look at him till the end. You knew he was probably going to look creepy, but by holding to that point, it just made the reveal that much better. Plus, the music cue was also really smart. And on top of that, just sort of the whole kind of the reveal of the card hard. The reveal of him, Rin hugging him, and the smile and the spider, it just led to a great reveal with great atmosphere. Just everything worked so perfectly, just so well balanced, and I really had a good time with it, and I just thought this episode was really good, and it's really, I just want next week to be here already. But what did you think? In the comment section below, give me your thoughts on everything that happened this episode. If you thought that guy was creepy, if you really think that the evil plan here is probably just to get a harem, which I still kind of think it is. But as always, click to like and click to subscribe. And for this week's TCG question of the week, the world's ban list was revealed. Now, this ban list doesn't affect us necessarily. Who knows? Maybe Konami TCG might try and match this ban list. I think it's a very good ban list, but do you think it's worth it? And do you think Worlds is even worth paying attention to? I love Worlds. I think it's super entertaining, but do you think that? Leave that below, and as always, click to like and click to subscribe so we can see where this mind control shenanigans goes next week.